Hi everyone, welcome to Thursday's corrections for Master Your Maths. So number 1 was an adding sum. It was 0.76 plus 215. So let's start into that straight away. 6 and 5 is 11. Put down my 1, carry my 1. 7 plus 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Don't forget to bring down your decimal point, and 0 plus 2 is 2. So the answer is 2.91. Question 2 was a subtraction sum with a decimal, so it was 5 minus 0.11. So when you're doing this out, you have to write down your 5 as 5.00. So then we can say 0 minus 1 we can't do, so we're going to have to borrow. We're going to have to come over to the 5 here to borrow, then bring over my 1, change that to a 9 and bring over my 1 here, and now I'm ready to subtract. 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 minus 1 is 8, bring down my decimal, and 4 minus 0 is 4. So the answer is 4.89. Question 3 then was rounding, and it was rounding to the nearest 100. So round 9,820 to the nearest 100. So I've written out my columns here so I can see my hundredths column is here, but what I must do is look at the number beside the hundredths column, which is 2, and I know the rule 0 to 4 touch the floor, so I stay at the hundredth that I'm at. So it's going to be 9,800 is my answer there for number 3. Number 4 then was kind of finding the pattern. So it started at 1,000, it goes down to 800, then 600, then 400. So I can see the numbers are going down, and they are going down by 200 every time. So the next one there would be 200, because 400 minus 200 would be 200 there for that one. Okay, question 5, 10 times 10 plus 10 times 10. So remember, we must always do what's in the brackets first. So 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 10 is 100. So 100 plus 100 would be 200. Question 6 then is quite similar. We have brackets, but this time in the brackets there is dividing, and it's a minus sum then. So doing the brackets first, 110 divided by 10. So remember, when you're dividing by 10, you can just knock off the 0. So that would be 11. And then 50 divided by 10. Again, I can knock off the 0. That's 5. So it would be 11 minus 5, which is 6. Okay, so question 7. 5/6 of a number is 10. We need to find the whole number. So the first step is to find 1/6. So we can't find 6/6 until we find 1/6. So if 5/6 is 10, to get 1/6, we would divide 10 by 5. So 10 divided by 5, how many times does 5 fit into 10? And that is 2. So 1/6 is 2. So if I have 1/6 being 2, 6/6 then would be 6 times 2, which is 12. So the answer to question 7 is 12. Okay, the next one, question 8. What date comes before the 31st of December? So remember, it said before, so that would be the 30th of December. Question 9, it is impossible that my sister, and you're given 3 options. So can touch the moon, can touch her nose with her tongue, can touch her toes with her finger. So I suppose the last 2 are possible, that she can touch her nose with her tongue. Not everyone can do that, but it is possible. Can touch her toes with her finger. So I would say the impossible one there is that she can touch the moon. So the first one there, you just tick the first box. Question 10, name the 3D shape that has 2 triangular faces and 3 rectangular faces. So that would be a triangular prism. So I've drawn it out there. That's obviously the net of the shape. If it was opened up, it would have the 3 rectangles and 2 triangles. So if I folded that all together, it would make a triangular prism, kind of like a Toblerone box. Question 11 then, what is 1 less than 300? So 300 minus 1 would be 299. Question 12 asks you to put the fractions in the correct order. So the first one, the smallest one, would be 3/8. Then you'd have 3/4, and then you'd have 2/2. Remember, 2/2 is the whole amount, so that's definitely the biggest one. And then an eighth is going to be smaller than 1/4. 1/8 means something split up into 8 pieces, and 1/4 means something split up into 4 pieces. So the eighths would be smaller, so 3/8, then 3/4, and then 2/2. Okay, question 13. In a recent maths test, Pat got 3/5 of the answers correct. Hallie got 3/4 of the answers correct. The test was marked out of 100. So how many correct answers did Pat get? So Pat got 3/5, and we know it's 3/5 of 100. So the first thing we need to do is find 1/5 of 100. So to do that, we will divide by 5, 100 divided by 5. So remember, we're just going to be dividing by the bottom and then multiplying by the top. That's how we find a fraction of a number. So 100 divided by 5, so 5 into 1 doesn't go, so I'll have to bring that over. 5 into 10 goes twice, nothing left over, and then 5 into 0 doesn't go. So 1/5 of 100 is 20. But we need 3/5, so now we will say 3 times 20. So 3 times 20 is 60. So Pat got 60 answers correct. So the next thing we're asked to do is find how many correct answers Hallie got. Now she got 3/4 correct. So basically what we need to do is find 3/4 of 100. So remember, when I'm finding a fraction of a number, I divide by the bottom and multiply by the top. So the first step is divide 4 into 100. You might be able to do this in your head, but I'm going to work it out. So 4 into 1 doesn't go. Bring over my 1. Now it's 4 into 10, and that goes 2 times, and there'd be 2 left over. And then 4 into 20 goes 5 times. Okay, so I'm not finished yet. That's just 1/4. I need 3/4. So I will have to say 25 now times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So Hallie got 75 questions right in her test. So question 15, who got the most correct answers and by how many? So you'll need your answers for question 13 and 14 for this. So we know Pat got 60 right, Hallie got 75 right. So Hallie got the most answers correct, but by how many? So just take away 75 minus 60. So 5 take away 0 is 5, and 7 take away 6 is 1. So she got 15 more correct. And the last one, express Pat's score as a decimal fraction. So we should know this from last week. We were doing our decimals. So Pat got 60 answers right out of 100. So he got 60 out of 100, 60 hundredths. So how do I write that as a decimal? 0.60. Or you could even just say 0.6. That's the same thing, because 60 hundredths is actually the same as 6 tenths. So if you wrote 0.60, you'd be correct, and 0.6 is correct as well. Okay, so if you have any further questions, please let us know.